Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the morning show. We have a lot to cover this morning as far as game changes for the issues going on in LA, Travis Kelce's new comments, and we got some rankings for quarterbacks heading into the playoffs that we'll digest and talk about. And we'll also wrap up our predictions for the NFC side of things. We already did the AFC side of things. So if you have not, go back and check that out. It's in the videos. And also, we'll get into as far as the schedule and everything, and some college football's coming up. We're going to get into that. So make sure you guys hit that like, that thumbs up. And of course, if you already not, do subscribe. Click that bell, turn on your notifications so you don't miss a stream. So good morning. Good morning, Rich Gang. The family, all the listeners, all the watchers, as we prepare to get started. Today is January 9th, 2025. It is a Thursday, and it's what has been a very hectic and interesting start to a new year. With that said, we do have some changes coming up here as far as with the Rams and Vikings playoff game due to the issues out in LA with the fires. So let's go ahead and get into this one here.
What are you hearing about the potential that Monday night's game between the Rams and Vikings could be moved to a different location?
Such a scary, troubling situation out in California. So many people fighting those fires. And my understanding right now, Kevin, is as of right now, there are no plans to move that game. But it's early in the week, and that game is still 5 days away. And this is such a potent fire. Let's see what happens. The NFL said today it is monitoring events, just like the NBA is monitoring events there for NBA games in California and the Los Angeles area as well. And the NFL will be doing the same exact thing. But in speaking to the teams today, there is not a plan to move or shift that game right now. Again, if that warrants a change later in the week, the NFL will be flexible and nimble and adapt to it. But everybody is hoping that they can get the fire under control and keep the damage to a minimum.
What do you?
So there you go. First and foremost, prayers and rest in peace to those who were lost in those fires. I've got family and friends out there, and so it's really unfortunate that this kind of situation happens. It happens almost every year, and it's sad because it does seem like it's getting worse every year. Before we continue on into the story, I do want to talk about something that I did see over the past couple years, right? I did notice that, and I'm reaching deep into the bag here because this is a topic that, will definitely set some people off. But I did notice in the last couple years that these insurance companies are starting to deny and cancel coverage for specific states. And so you look at Florida, right? There's a lot of insurance companies that are not willing to cover homes due to flooding and things like that. Well, we know, Florida's known for their hurricanes and so forth and so on. And then, I just got wind of another situation as far as out in California where a lot of the insurance companies weren't covering homes, or they decided to stop recently. And if they did offer it to you, they didn't, give you the fire coverage. So there's a lot that goes on there, and there's a lot that goes into that topic specifically that I think we need to start talking about and addressing, because this is a huge issue, right? Now, we know insurance companies are based off of risk, right? They're based off of risk, and they look at specific areas, they look at specific events and how that could affect, obviously, having to cover it. Now, the question is, we need to dig into regulation. We have to understand as far as, why these things are allowed to happen, and, what kind of specific time frame and how these companies can say, hey, well, we know that you've been our customer for 20 years, but because we've seen an uptick in this specific event happening, we're going to go ahead and either raise your premiums or just completely deny you coverage, and so you have to move on and go somewhere else. It's really unfortunate. It's something that I think definitely needs to be brought up more and talked about more as far as for, the general public. And I just wanted to touch on that before we get into this story. So it says NFL monitoring LA wildfires names contingency site for Vikings Rams. It says as wildfires continue to devastate several areas across Los Angeles, causing thousands to evacuate and impacting air quality, the NFL said it's monitoring the situation's potential impact on Monday night's wild card playoff game between the Vikings and the Rams at SoFi Stadium, and has a contingency plan that involves moving the game to Arizona should the need arise. In a statement Wednesday evening, the NFL said it continues to prepare for the game to be played at SoFi Stadium, but if it had to be moved, it would take place Monday night at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, the home of the Arizona Cardinals. In quote, as with all games, there are contingency plans in the event a change is needed in this location, the league said in a statement. In 2003, the league moved a Monday night regular season game between Miami Dolphins and the Chargers to Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona, due to the wildfires. So this has, like I said, happened before. The fires are a little bit worse this time, right? There's a lot more property damage for what I've noticed and seen as far as over the past few years. So it's devastating. It's really unfortunate. And it looks like at this point, you know, they may have to move the game. Obviously, they haven't said that they will, but depending on, you know, the severity of it and if they're able to, fix this issue, I do think it will move. Now, on the flip side, I did get some updates yesterday as far as what's going on out there. California is saying they don't have any water, right? This Newsom came out and said that they don't have any water. And it's really wild to me, right? Before someone says, well, you know, you could just use the seawater. You can't use the seawater for the situation. And it really makes me mad. It pisses me off because why are you having water issues for an event that happens frequently or on an annual basis? And this is why, you know, I named the thumbnail, you know, preparation, right? As far as a governor being in a specific state that's known to have these environmental disasters, you would think that they would be prepared and have the necessary allotment for water needed to fix this problem. So let's keep it going. Says the Rams, who had scheduled off Wednesday and are slated to resume practice Thursday, are also monitoring the situation, a team official said. Just looking at this picture here, it's people are losing their homes, lives have been lost. It's devastating, absolutely devastating. People have nowhere to live. Fortunately, there are people that have been willing to open up their homes out there in California as well. So shout out to those individuals for helping others. The Rams said no players or staff members have been affected by the fires. The team is headquartered in Woodland Hills, a neighborhood located about 13 miles north of fire-ravaged Pacific Palisades, but separated by the Santa Monica Mountains. Our thoughts and prayers are with everyone affected by the fires, Rams star receiver Cooper Kupp wrote on social media. Thank you to the firefighters, first responders, and everyone else doing their best in unfathomable circumstances. The Los Angeles Chargers, who will visit the Texans on Saturday in a wild card playoff game in Houston, altered their practice schedule Wednesday to limit players' time outdoors, a team official said. You don't want to breathe that stuff in. You don't want to breathe, that ash, that smoke. We actually had that here in New York. We had that here in New York with the wildfires in Canada. And it wasn't even direct for us, but we were getting so much smoke and the air quality was terrible. And those fires were far away, way far away than what these guys are dealing with. So definitely I can imagine how they don't want them to be in that kind of situation to practice. It goes on to say the air quality index in the area varied Wednesday from 150 to well above 300, depending on specific locations, with smoke and ash blanketing the region. A rating of 150 is considered very unhealthy, according to the system used to measure air pollution. The air quality in Inglewood, California, where SoFi Stadium is located, was 281 Wednesday afternoon. Chargers coach Jim Harbaugh had the offensive and defensive units practice separately to limit their time on the field. Still, quarterback Justin Herbert and the rest of the quarterbacks are throwing passes to coaches during the defensive portion of practice. Chargers owner Dean Spanos, who typically isn't out on the field at practice, was there watching the general manager Joe Cortez during the defensive period open to media. So there you go. I think, to be honest, that the game should be moved. I think the game should be moved to Arizona, specifically because it's not just about the players, right? It's not just about the players. I do think you have to be a little empathetic to the situation. I do also think that you don't want tons of people trying to travel to this specific area while, the fires are going on. There's, chaos and things going on in that specific area. So move the game to Arizona, let that happen, and then we'll figure it out from there. So let me hop into the chat. Big T, what up, man? What's going on with you, bro? Good morning. Shout out to you, Kolya. Good morning. Puck, good morning to you as well. Good to see you guys this morning. Shout out to each and every one of you as we keep it going. So yeah, like I said, it's very unfortunate as far as what's happened out there. I've got friends, I've got family, I'm hearing about these kind of situations, and it's sad. It's very sad. Hopefully, the higher powers in California can get it together. I mean, that's a whole nother topic and a whole nother story that we can definitely get into one of these days. But hopefully they can get it together and get, this state back in order, and especially Los Angeles County, because there's no reason to not being prepared. No reason for not being prepared. So there you go. All right, y'all. I had to clean off my glasses. Let's keep it going. Let's get back to it. I got a couple of things here that I wanted to address as well this morning, but we'll get into that later. We got time. Next up. Bengals star receiver Jermaine Burton accused of assaulting woman. No charges filed against rookie wide receiver. We always have stories like this. The question is why? If you watch this video, leave it down in the comments. Why? Why do we have these kind of issues, and why are they always coming up with athletes? Well, let's keep it going. It says Cincinnati Bengals rookie receiver Jermaine Burton was accused of assaulting a woman he was dating, but she has decided not to press charges. According to police reports obtained by the Cincinnati Enquirer, Burton, who is also facing eviction from his apartment. All right, there's a lot to unpack here, y'all. Allegedly assaulted the woman on the morning of December 30th, several days prior to being a healthy scratch for the Bengals' Week 18 win over the Steelers. The woman suffered minor injuries but did not need medical attention. Investigators said Burton is suspected of using alcohol and also stated that force was involved. Warning, the following includes graphic content that could be disturbing. The woman called police and told them Burton met her at her apartment, chased her inside, damaged her phone, and assaulted her, included choking her before leaving the apartment, and the caller said Burton held a knife to his neck and threatened to unalive himself. Jermaine Burton on the Bengals just broke into my house, said the woman, who could be heard heavily sobbing. He broke my phone. He's been pretty abusive. He does a lot of these things that I do not tolerate. So let me stop here for a minute. Let me unpack things, right? Rookie wide receiver going through an eviction and then decides to assault his girlfriend. So let's start here at the eviction. Why the hell are you getting evicted? Let's start there. What is going on that you're getting evicted, right? Now, you may have forgot to make your payments. Something's going on. You may have been, traveling. I don't know. But that's a big question that needs to be asked. I'm sure you got the money to pay your rent. Pay the rent. Get it over with. That way that's not an issue and a problem that shouldn't be going on. Number two, why are you in this situation as far as, assaulting your girlfriend? Right? There should have been some specific person or some specific group that works with NFL players. You come in as a rookie, these individuals give you these specific guidelines or give you this specific advice as far as look at what happened to this player from doing this. Don't go down this route. Learn some anger management. Learn how to just walk away. Learn your value. Learn your worth. Understand that you don't have to put yourself into this kind of situation that end up on the news. You're a football player. You play for a professional football team. You don't have to crash out. This is insane to me because I feel like we get 2 or 3 of these stories every season. 2 or 3 of these stories every season where we end up talking about a specific player doing this or doing that. And, you know, it really doesn't catch us by surprise anymore because of how sad it is. Shout out to you, 1S23. I appreciate you. Let's continue on. It says the woman said the two had been out on the night before and that Burton had gotten mad at her. They parted ways that evening, but Burton was waiting for her when she arrived at home. He wouldn't let me go inside and he choked me in the hallway, she said. He blocked the door so I couldn't go inside. And when I did go inside, he chased me upstairs. He broke into my house. He broke my phone. This is the second time he's broken my phone in the past month. Yeah. Jermaine. Come here, little bro. Let me holler at you. We need to little bruh, right? Gotta put him. We got to put him under the shoulder. Put him under the shoulder. Jermaine. Let's go back here. The woman said the two had been out the night before and that Burton had got mad at her. Red flags, bro. They obviously went out, you know, something happened. He got into the phone. He didn't like what he seen in the phone. Broke her phone. And this happened before. She said this has happened before. So, Jermaine, what the hell are you doing? We got to stop simping out here, y'all. This is black and white. This is black and white. If you have to go through your girl's phone, if you got to go through your man's phone, you shouldn't be with him. It's very simple. If you can't trust this individual and you feel like you got to go through their phone and then you see what's on the phone and you lose your mind and you crash out, you don't need to be over there, especially if you're a rookie wide receiver playing for a professional football team like the Cincinnati Bengals. What are you doing? You're almost a star. Go hang out with Joe Burrow. Go have a good time. Why are you crashing out? See, like I said, these individuals need people to come in and give them advice. I don't know if the team needs to hire, you know, some veterans to school the rookies as far as coming into the league, what not to do, what to do, how to handle yourself as a young man coming into stardom and money and things like that. You need these individuals to mentor and coach you on life. Fine. You want to talk about the field and how to play the game? Cool. They need that too. But these young dudes need life coaches. They need real mentors who have been through the problems and been through the issues that can say, hey, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't crash out. Come holler. You know, if you're going through it, holler at me. Go talk to one of your teammates. Go hang out with them. Figure it out. Go breathe, relax, and then move on. But hey, y'all gotta stop with this, y'all. Y'all gotta stop with this. Let's keep it going. Says he broke my phone, he hit me, and he left. The woman said, "Why didn't you just leave? You didn't have to hit her or break the phone. You could have just left. Choose the third option. Just leave." The woman said the two had been drinking, but that she was not drunk at the time of the call. Per the report, the woman initially wanted to file charges before changing her mind. This gets worse, y'all. This gets worse. He got in my dishwasher and he grabbed a knife and then held it to his neck. She said, "I don't deserve this." She said, "I don't deserve this. I'm only 19. Burton, 23, caught just 4 passes for 107 yards during his rookie season. He was suspended during the year for missing a walkthrough when he was expected to be part of the team's game plan. The Bengals defeated the Raiders anyway, with Burton watching from the sidelines. While his talent was seldom been called into question, Burton's maturity level has. It was one of the main reasons why he fell to the Bengals in the third round of last year's draft. Despite those questions, the Bengals still drafted Burton, who struggled both on and off the field during his first NFL season. The stories write themselves, y'all. See, some of y'all be thinking, man, maybe it ain't true. Maybe they lying. Nah, this stuff really be happening, y'all. And I just be shaking my head. I'll be like, man, what the hell is going on? But let me get into the chat. Shout out to you, DJ Jeans. Says, Roid Rage? Listen, simping and insecurity comes way before the roid rage. That just adds to it. Shout out to the 357. Says Kelce phone smash. Stop snooping on them phones. Stop it. Just don't do it. Don't do it. You know you're going to find something you don't like. So just don't do it. My goodness. Shout out to you, Yolanda. I see you over there. Good morning. Good morning. Listen, stop going through the phones. You're going to find something you don't like. You're going to get mad about it, and you're going to crash out. And then you're going to end up in the news, or you're going to end up in handcuffs, and you're going to be sitting there regretting it. Because now you got to go get a lawyer. You got to pay out the money. And then guess what? You ain't going to leave. You going to go right back to him. Why would you do this to me? You're going to go right back to it. So make a decision. My goodness. Make a decision. Jermaine, I hope the best for you, bro. I really do. But you need to get some advice. You need to get you a life coach, get you a mentor. Find somebody that's been through the issues and the struggles so that you can learn from them and they can help you go in the right direction, because people want to see you succeed. Nobody wants to see you fail. Nobody wants to see this. We want to see, highlight reels, and we want to get the news that you've been doing great on the field as a wide receiver for the Bengals, right? We want to hear some good stuff. You don't want this kind of stuff out there, man. So, if you end up finding this video, because I know a lot of y'all players do watch these videos. Y'all don't comment, but y'all watch. We know y'all do. I done had some of y'all in my DMs talking about, I like the story. You did a good job. So if you end up watching this, make sure that you get yourself, a life coach, get yourself a mentor, and we hope the best for you, bro. We hope the best for you. DJ Jeans says insecurity issues. Tyrone says if you look under a rock, don't be surprised to find worms. That's what I'm saying. Right? DJ Jeans says this is only her side. There's still two more sides, his side and the truth. I mean, yeah. But what we do know is that he didn't leave. Right? Because if he left, there wouldn't have been her side. So let me break this down for you. I mean, y'all know I keep it real. I'm very transparent. I was told a long time ago that I was told a long time ago by the authorities that if something ever happens, make sure that you're the first person to tell the story, or the last person to tell the story. And I'm going to leave y'all with that. Take that as you may. I was told by the authorities to make sure that you tell the story first, or make sure that you tell the story last. So there you go. Shout out to you, Tactical. What up, man? Good morning. Good morning. Says the pitfalls of stardom. James says, so glad to get you live. Keep it the good work. We on it, man. Listen, I told y'all I was going to start off 2025 strong, and y'all know my man and my word. We on it. We on it. We on it, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you guys hit that like, hit that thumbs up as we keep it going. All right, next story. I was excited to talk about this one. I was so ready to talk about this one. I seen the meme. Travis Kelce said he ain't scared. He wanted the Bengals to be in the playoffs. You ain't said nothing about this team all season, buddy. You waited till they wasn't in the playoffs to start talking. You remind me of Smokey from Friday. When he gone, I'll be talking. Let's get into this one. Bengals star fires back at Chiefs Travis Kelce with blunt 5-word message. Let's get into this one, y'all. This is hilarious. Make sure you hit that like, hit that thumbs up. Says it's no surprise that the NFL postseason leads to heightened player feelings and emotions, but usually only the players whose teams made into the playoff picture. The Kansas City Chiefs are one of those teams, clinching the number 1 seed in the AFC early to give themselves an extra week of rest in their season finale against the Denver Broncos. The Cincinnati Bengals are not one of those teams, seeing their playoff hopes fade away after the Broncos blew out the Chiefs' second stringers in Week 18. Amid unfounded rumors that the Chiefs purposely gave up during their loss to Denver to ensure the Bengals would be eliminated, Travis Kelce delivered a fired-up message to Cincinnati, saying that he wasn't scared of effing nobody and that having the Bengals in the playoffs would have been fun. Come on now, Travis. We got to put you under the arm, too. Come here, Travis. We got to put you under the arm. You ain't said none of this in the regular season. You waited until they was gone. You ain't said the night of the game. You ain't said the morning before the game. You said it when Cincinnati was well long and gone and wasn't going to get in. Then you stuck out your chest and you said this with your chest on national TV, on all the airwaves. Listen, we got to be honest here. We know that every team in the AFC did not want to see the Bengals in the playoffs. We don't care about the defense issues. We get they had a bad defense, but guess what? Joe Burrow was in a sense of, I can will my team to get these victories. Hell, me, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins can get it done ourselves. Just give me a little bit of time. Just hold them just enough. We gonna score. They gonna have to beat us on the offense then. So, to sit here and say that we wanted to see them in the playoffs, Travis, you lying. You lying, Travis. Let's keep it going. I'll play the Bengals at the Walmart parking lot, says Kelce on his podcast Wednesday. I don't give a. We can have our own game in the offseason where we really duke it out. Bengals star defensive Cam Taylor-Britt heard Kelce's fiery comments and clearly didn't believe him. Cap, shut that up, Taylor-Britt wrote to Kelce on social media. As you see, he shared the story on his reel as Kelce said that they weren't scared. Strong words from a player whose team just missed the playoffs for the second straight year despite quarterback Joe Burrow playing at an MVP caliber level. From Burrowhead to city mayor jabronis to a handful of questionable officiating calls on the field, the last few years of the heated Chiefs-Bengals rivalry have delivered some unforgettable moments. It's truly a shame the two AFC juggernauts won't be going head-to-head this time around. Sure. Yeah, it is a shame because I don't think we would have heard these words out of Travis Kelce. I don't think he would have been running his mouth if the Bengals made it in. I think the tone would have been a little different. I think if the Bengals would have made it in, if Travis Kelce did have some comments to make about it, it would have been like, well, Joe Burrow's a great competitor and, we'll have to see just how things go here in the playoffs and we wish them the best. That is exactly, he would have sounded like a mouse. He wouldn't have talked with his chest out because the Bengals weren't in the playoffs. So keep it real, Travis. Keep it real as we keep it going. Let me get back to the chat. So James says, well, there's fire and it'll affect the playoffs. Hope all are okay. Life's more important than foot. Yeah, so we talked about it earlier. That was actually one of the first stories we talked about. It looks like the game may be moved to Arizona. They haven't said that they're going to move it yet. But as far as from what I'm seeing and how severe things are, I think they will, and I think they should. So I think they're going to move the game to Arizona. Tactical says, how much you can get for a slip and fall in a store? I'm laughing because I remember that was the theme back in the day. If people would purposely slip and fall, try to get a check. It's crazy how times have changed. Tyrone says just leaves a bad taste, without a doubt. We're all about being competitive, and all that situation is it's a little different, right? You kicked the team when they were down, Travis. Right? You didn't have nothing to say when, it was a potential they could have got in, but you had something to say when they got out. So I don't respect it. Dr. DC says, sorry, just joined. Are they moving the Bills game? No. Every other game is locked in besides the Rams and the Vikings. The Rams and the Vikings is the only game right now that really has a chance to be moved to Arizona. So everything else is set, which we will be streaming those games. So make sure you do lock it in, like and subscribe. We're going to be streaming all those playoff games. And also tomorrow we got college. Don't forget, we still got college. We're going to get into that tomorrow. I'm excited for that. It's going to be a hell of a time. And then we still got the championship coming up too. So we got the NFL playoffs. We got the college, wrapping up the bowl games, and then getting into the college championship. So we'll be streaming all of that. Make sure you guys lock it in. So there you go. Travis Kelce talking crazy. But yeah. On to the next one. So let's get into this. 49ers. 49ers motivated to get Brock Purdy's extension done quickly. Now, before we get into this one, I do want to say I thoroughly enjoyed watching Brock Purdy's rise to being relevant. Going from Mr. Irrelevant to being relevant has been probably one of the best stories that I've seen in football. There were so many people who denied this man, so many people that said he was a game manager, so many people who said that he wouldn't last and he would be a one-hit wonder. Well, Brock Purdy, I think, has proved everyone wrong, except for me, because I said when I first seen this man play that he was going to be magical, and he has. So let's get into this one. 49ers motivated to get Brock Purdy's extension done quickly.
Brock talked the other day about wanting to get an extension done as soon as possible. All right, do you have that same optimism that it can get done by mid-April when spring workouts start?
Well, listen, I think what we know about Brock is that he's our guy. We've got, we have interest in Brock being around here for a long, long time. He's done so much for our organization. He's won big games, had a little tougher task, as we all did this year, with some of the things that happened throughout the course of the year. We just never could string games where we were all together. And through that, he continued to lead. He continued to play at a high level. So we have every interest in him being around. The way this thing goes, these press conferences are necessary, but always kind of silly because Kyle's coaching. We spend time together all the time, and there's big issues that affect the team. But he's just getting off coaching. He's had his door shut for 2 days, doing exit interviews. We were just up, but we were talking about our players. We'll have some time here in the coming weeks to sit together and put our whole plan together. That's obviously a priority, that position, and we'll give it that attention.
So there you go. You heard it from the team themselves, and Brock Purdy's the guy, right? He's going to be the guy moving forward. They trust Brock Purdy. They believe in Brock Purdy. And from what we've seen over the man, he steps out on that field with the confidence, the cadence, the professionalism, great IQ. I would like to see more of the long ball out of Brock Purdy. But for what he's been able to do, I think it's been absolutely great. And he's still developing to be better, right? There's still room for growth. And as we go on, I think not only Brock Purdy deserves the money, but I think at this point, he deserves a recognition because nobody expected him to do what he's done for this 49ers franchise, and he's been nothing short of exceptional. Even in the losses, you don't put the blame totally on Purdy because he went out there and did his job. So I'm glad that the 49ers have decided to make him the man for the job, and are going to pay him what he's worth. So let's get into this one. It says with the season over, the San Francisco 49ers and quarterback Brock Purdy are, for the first time in his young career, eligible to discuss a lucrative long-term contract extension. And while those talks haven't begun just yet, Niners general manager John Lynch, coach Kyle Shanahan, and Purdy have made it clear that they intend to reach an agreement with the hope that it will be done sooner than later. I think we know about Brock and that he is our guy. Lynch said Wednesday, we have our interest in Brock being around here for a long time, long time. He's done so much for our organization. He's won big games and had a little tougher task, as we all did this year, with some of the things that happened throughout the course of the year. We never could string games where we were all together, and through that, he continued to lead. He continued to play at a high level, so we have every interest in him being around. So there you go. Like I said, I think Brock Purdy has been great for the team, even though, the struggles of, hey, I lost Christian McCaffrey, I lost Deebo Samuel, I lost my defense. Being able to navigate those things and, go out there and still perform at a high level and do his damn hardest, I think has not only won the fans over, but won this team over to let them know that, hey, he's the man for the job and we're fine bringing him on for a long-term commitment. So I like it. Shout out to Brock Purdy for holding it down. I'm excited to, see what Brock Purdy career leads to, especially, moving on for in the NFC and in the later seasons. And, so there it is. I like that tactical. Let's go, bro. It says from Mr. Irrelevant to Mr. Exceptional. I love it. Gay Smasher says, just returning from knocking off ice on the boat down here in Bills Mafia Country, Cedar Key, Florida. Shout out to you, Gay Smasher. Good to see you. Good morning to you all. John Lynch, what a great ball player he was, without a doubt, holding down the 49ers. Let's keep it going. As the last pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, Purdy played his first 3 years on one of the cheapest contracts in the NFL, a 4-year rookie deal worth an average annual value of $934,253. Now, here's a question for the chat. How much did Purdy deserve, right? How much would you have paid a quarterback for the performance that you were getting out of Purdy? It wouldn't have been $934,000. I guarantee it. He has 1 year left on the pact and is slated to count $1.1 million against the cap in 2025. That number is all but certain to rise this offseason as the Niners are prepared to pay him in line with some of the top paid passers in the league, though it remains to be seen just how high they're willing to go. The Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott is the current highest paid quarterback in terms of average annual value at $60 million per season. Yeah, Dak Prescott's getting $60 million per season. Monday, Purdy said he's not really sure whether topping the number is of importance to him, but he did make it clear that he wants to get something done as fast as possible so he can be in the fold when the Niners begin organizing the team activities in April. If you're going to pay Dak $60 million, what do you pay Brock Purdy? Shout out to you, Mark. I was right there. I was thinking between 25, 40 max, right? Depending on what kind of agent situation Purdy has, and depending on what the 49ers are willing to spend, I'm thinking between 25, 40. I don't think they're going to pay him Dak money. Now, it's sad to say that, right? Because if anybody should get $60 million, maybe it should be Purdy. Because if Dak's able to get $60 million, why can't Purdy? Right? If I'm Brock Purdy and I'm looking at what Dak just got, and I look at, well, this is what I did in the NFC, and this is what he did, and he got $60 million and I can't. We got to have a real discussion about this, right? Because I'm saying, 25 to 40 on value, right? Of what I think of what the market should be for a quarterback like Brock Purdy. But then I got to turn around and go through the numbers and see what Dak Prescott got paid. And it's like, well, I did a hell of a better job than Dak Prescott. You got to pay me, or I'll take these talents somewhere else. who's willing to pay me that kind of money. So I think it puts the 49ers in this weird situation, but also I think Purdy is looking at it like this. I like where I'm at. Just make the number look good, and everyone will be happy. Shout out to you, Tactical. Says, Jay, the look you gave the camera when you said $60 million for Dak. I mean, listen. It's the reality of it. Philip says, what's Baker get? Purdy gets Baker, though. No. He gets more than that. Baker's on a 2-year. Jonas says, plus Dak is getting paid off those commercial. Purdy might get $45 million in guaranteed money for 5 years. I like it. Because, like I said, you can't give Dak Prescott $60 million and expect to give Purdy 20 or 30. It's almost a slap in the face. Dak Prescott don't have no Super Bowls. He don't got no NFC championships. So what do you pay Brock Purdy if Dak Prescott's getting $60 million? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a breaking news that, Brock Purdy is now, above Dak Prescott. But it's hard to say that just because we know the 49ers are trying to, make sure they got enough for the cap space and to, work on that defense a little more too. Obviously, they got to figure it out. We'll see how that goes. But shout out to Brock Purdy. All money aside, shout out to Brock Purdy. I do think that the 49ers will pay him what he's worth, but you do have to look at the quarterback market, and that's how people get paid, right? You get paid off of the market these days. You can't go back and tell someone that they're worth less than what this individual is when they got paid all that money and they didn't do jack shit. I'm being frank with you guys this morning. I ain't holding back. So there you go. DC says 45 to 50 million. He isn't Mr. Replaceable. Irreplaceable. I guess you could say that, sure. Who else you gonna get to replace Brock Purdy, though? I think that's the question, too. Tyrone says Brady took a pay cut to help surround himself with a better team, loading up for success. Now, listen, we ain't going to sit here and say that these new quarterbacks is Tom Brady. Tom Brady was cut from a different cloth. See, Tom Brady was a champion through and through, right? And what does it take to be a champion? Sometimes you have to sacrifice. Now, there's some individuals who, will sacrifice, right? But a lot of these players ain't sacrificing a dime. Go look at Derek Carr. Did you see what Derek Carr said recently? They asked him if he could restructure his contract. He said, no, I'm not giving y'all back nothing. He said, for what I brought to this team and what I bring to the table, I'm not restructuring anything. So like I said, some people don't have that champion spirit. They don't want to help out the team. They feel like they're worth whatever they're worth, and they feel like that's their value. And, hey, I'm not restructuring nothing. You go out there and figure it out. I'm doing my job. Philip says, how about Deshaun money? I mean, listen, that's a whole nother ball game. I feel like Deshaun got that contract because they knew he was going to have some lawsuits. They wanted to, bring him over, make him happy, and make sure he had money to cover them suits and still live. So there you go. It says, well, Dak is a 4th rounder. Purdy is a 7th rounder off the last pick. That might make it harder. Look at Tom Brady, won 3 Super Bowls and only got $16 million a year, and add 3 more Super Bowls. We aren't still going off that, are we? We're not going off pick money. And we're talking about something that was like 20 years ago. Money's way different now. It's way different. The market's totally different. Quarterbacks weren't getting paid $400 million, $500 million 20 years ago. That's not. We're off a whole different thing, a whole different standard when it comes to contracts and value now. Tom Brady was from a different era where, they were paying quarterbacks good money, but they weren't paying him hundreds of millions of dollars, right? Quarterbacks back in the day got rich off that the commercials. They got rich off the endorsements. They didn't get rich off their contracts. Now the quarterbacks are getting rich off their contracts. You don't have to do much endorsements now because you're making so much money on the field. It's kind of reversed, right? Quarterbacks, wide receivers, they had to, they got a good contract, but then they'd have to go off and, do the endorsement deals and, have their portfolios and things like that to really, become wealthy. But now, if you balling out, team like the Chiefs, they'll give you $500 million. You don't got to do nothing else. So Keanu Reeves sacrificed some of his salary on The Matrix to help afford better props and costumes. He did. That movie's legendary. Sacrifices. Tom Brady was a sixth rounder. He got his highest paid day off of the Buccaneers for $50 million for 2 years. Yeah, that's down the road. That's after 7 Super Bowls and being called the GOAT. So Gary Edwards said, how much would other teams be willing to pay for Purdy? That's a good question. Because you have to take that into consideration, right? If we don't pay Purdy what he's worth based on the market, because the market is what are other teams willing to pay. So if other teams are willing to pay $40 million for Purdy, well, then the 49ers have to pay that or be right around that number. If other teams are willing to pay $50 million for Purdy, well, then the 49ers have to pay right around that, right? We're not saying that Purdy's going to break the bank or that he should, but it goes by the market and what you've done for your following. We know how this works, right? What you did your following year. How successful were you? How much is that worth for teams going into the next season? Is it worth $200 million? Is it worth $300 million? And so when we look at what Dak got paid, it's like, okay, we know that Purdy is probably going to be between that $40 to $60 million mark, in which I assure you he's not going to be complaining. Going from Mr. Irrelevant to Mr. Exceptional, shout out to you, Tactical, puts him into the conversation of, I know I'm going to get paid. And my agent's going to make it happen because my agent's putting it together as far as with the market value and the numbers and everything like that and where everyone else is. And so he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. That was after 6 Super Bowl. Yeah, 7. All right, Jonas. My goodness. I know you're mad this morning because of what I said about Dak Prescott, but relax. We know why Tom Brady got his money is because he had those Super Bowls. Jonas is like, well, he had 6 before he got that $50 million. Tactical says, Jay, I've dabbled in real estate and had to learn it's not what you think your property is worth. It's what someone's willing to pay for it. Exactly. 100%. Right? I think the 49ers are going to be willing to pay him, like I said, right around that, $40 million mark. And so I think that's respectable. I don't think he's going to be complaining, and I don't think the fans are going to be complaining about it. He's done a hell of a job for the 49ers, and I think at the end of the day, you give the man what he's worth. He's earned it. He's worked his way into this team. He's shown you that he's reliable. He's shown you that he has a great IQ. I think you hone on, his weaknesses, work on, some of those issues, get people back healthy. You got the 49ers back in an NFC championship. And, that's what you pay for. That's what you pay for. So there you go. There you go. What have you done for me lately? Shout out to DJG. Yeah, man. Mark says, Jerry is not the standard of the NFL for deciding what to pay. Who? Jerry got money to burn. Jerry got money to burn, yo. We not, because they're in the NFL owners meeting. So, well, how did you feel about what Jerry paid Dak? We don't give a damn what Jerry paid Dak. We're not paying nobody else that kind of money for that kind of performance. I can just imagine the kind of conversations being had, and to a degree, you're right. But like I said, the market goes up; it doesn't go down. Right? The ticket prices go up, the season tickets go up, right? The VIPs go up, the value of the team goes up, so the contracts go up. And so now you put someone like Brock Purdy into a situation where we know he has to get paid, but what's the value for him? And I think that's, it works out for him because his agent doesn't have to really work too hard because of his performance, but then also the market's going to determine what the kid's worth. So I would dream of having Brock as the Titans. Yeah. See what I'm saying? Tactical, how much would you be willing to pay Dak to come over to those Titans? Right? You invest in Brock, you get him a couple more wide receivers, right? Get him a solid tight end. Things start to look a little different for those Titans then. People a little excited, right? Things start to change around. But that's just the reality of it, y'all. It's just the reality of it. All right. Next story. The NFL playoff quarterback rankings are out, and Chiefs Patrick Mahomes opens the postseason at number 1. Jared Goff will be in the top 5. So let's get into this one. Let's digest this one. This is from CBS Sports. Before any of you get mad about these rankings, it's not from me. Y'all tend to get mad when y'all see this kind of stuff. I'm just letting y'all know it's not on me. If you got a problem, take it out on CBS Sports. Let's get into this one. I'm going to scroll down, though, because I don't want to, give it away. We'll start at, what was it, 14? Yeah, we're going to start at 14. Here we go. So they got Russell Wilson at number 14. I think this is too high. I think this is too high on the list, y'all. But we'll get into it. Russell Wilson's at number 14. It says when he replaced Justin Fields as a Steelers starter, Wilson quickly regained some of the play-action spunk that marked his best days with the Seattle Seahawks, expanding Pittsburgh's deep passing attack to the point Mike Tomlin finally appeared to have more than wild card material on his hands. Lately, he's just looking his age, 36, struggling to jumpstart a sluggish, mostly one-dimensional unit and relying heavily on the prowess of Tomlin's TJ Watt-led defense. It's too high. It's too high. I wouldn't have put that. I wouldn't have put Russell at 14. And the reason why is I think we're kind of seeing the weaknesses, right? Russell Wilson isn't as mobile. He's not as accurate. And unfortunately for him, I think the big problem that comes into the playoffs is going to be the reliance on George Pickens. Is Pickens going to be who he needs to be on that field? Is he ready for it? Or is it going to be a situation where they try to get Harris, a lot more snaps than usual, try to make, Freiermuth, that Honeywell for Russell. And, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I think Russell Wilson's going to run into a lot of problems. I don't have faith in him going into these playoffs. Now, the defense, sure, right? If the defense can hold the Ravens, and give Russell Wilson, some time to make things happen, then yeah, right? If they can keep it a short game, then Russell Wilson may be able to, get lucky, but that's the conversation. So I don't put Russell at 14. I don't agree with it. 13 is going to be CJ Stroud. I think this makes sense because CJ Stroud hasn't been having his best year, but fortunately was able to make it to the playoffs. Says the belle of the ball in 23 when his downfield precision single-handedly accelerated Houston's rebuild. Stroud has been a different animal in year 2. He's still capable of lasering tight window throws and retains a lot of respect as a humble leader. His timing and touch have repeatedly dipped in a light of depleted wide receiver group and shaky offensive front. However, leaving the Titans to crawl rather than sprint into the postseason, it might just not be their year. And I agree. I agree with this. When Tank Dell went down, I think a piece of CJ Stroud went down with him. And it was really unfortunate because as a professional quarterback, we've seen this time and time again where, they lose specific players and it can either ruin them or it can make them better or make them rise to the occasion. And so unfortunately for CJ Stroud, I think he really, really let that bother him and it really affected his game. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but there is. And the reason why it is because you have other people on the team who can help you win. And if you push on that issue too much, if you let it affect your mentality, if you let it affect you emotionally and you can't bounce back from it, you're letting down the team. You're letting down those other individuals. So I think CJ Stroud is going to have to learn from that experience. He's going to have to bounce back, but I think having him at 13 is respectable. Bo Nix at number 12. I don't like this one. I don't like Bo Nix at number 12. I'll get into why, but I think he should be higher. Bo Nix is at number 12. It says, raise your hand if you realized Nix threw 29 touchdowns. Fifth most among all quarterbacks. As a rookie leader of Sean Payton's offense after a slow start, he really settled in despite Denver's so-so weaponry. Utilizing his natural mobility to keep the rock in the Broncos' hands, upsetting the Bills on the road will be a tall first-round task for his playoff debut. But his play-extending athleticism and visible feel for the game go a long way in supplementing a stingy Broncos defense. I don't like him being at 12. I think he should be higher. Now, getting into why, Bo Nix is looking like one of the best rookies we've probably seen in a long time. Cowboy style, good arm, fierce, very competitive, physical, mobile, all the things you'd want to see in a quarterback in this new generation. And so Bo Nix has came out and displayed this almost immediately. He has put himself and this team under his wing. He's now in the playoffs, Sean Payton leading the way. And I do feel like, it's going to be a great game. I mean, they still going to get smacked by the Bills, but it's going to be a good game. I'm excited for Bo Nix. I think, he's going to do great things for this Broncos franchise. He's still got some time before, I think he's a true threat in the playoffs. But, I like it. I think he should be a little higher for sure. For sure. Mark says Nix should be closer to the top 10. I agree. Let's get into number 11. Now, I think Sam Darnold should be a little lower. Vikings fans, I love y'all, and I know you're going to be mad I just said that, but I think Sam Darnold should be a little lower. I'll get into why after we get into this. It says, how much do we weigh his 9-game winning streak in which he gave the Vikings legitimate top 10 production as the fearless distributor for Kevin O'Connell's offense versus his regular season finale in which the heat of the moment appeared to sap him of his trademark touch? Darnold's got all the physical tools and playmakers for a rebound for Minnesota, but if his line isn't sturdy, his mechanics and poise are liable to dip again. His future in purple may depend on the next move. I'm going to be honest with you. I think he should be lower. I don't think he should be number 11. The reason why is we watched what happened in the Lions game. He faltered. He didn't show up. He wasn't focused. He had no precision. We now know if you lock down Justin Jefferson, he's frazzled. He doesn't know what to do. And unfortunately, even going up against the Rams, I think that Sam Darnold's going to have some problems because now you take the blueprint from the Lions and you got the defense as far as the Rams to hold down Jefferson. At this point, where is Sam Darnold going to go? Who is he going to be able to utilize? Is Hockenson going to get going for him? Is Addison going to get going for him? There's going to be a lot of questions that go into this game versus the Rams. And I'll tell you this right now, Matthew Stafford's looking for another shot at it. I wouldn't sleep on the Rams with Nicole and Cup over there. I think they're going to ball out. And I think, unfortunately for the Vikings, Sam Darnold may not excel and be able to get past those Rams. So I think Sam Darnold should be a little lower. Number 10, Justin Herbert. I think this is right where Herbert should be, but for good reason. It's not bad. I think it's good. Herbert rarely looked more comfortable in his prolific NFL career, adopting more of a selective but efficient approach atop Jim Harbaugh's defensively geared team. His connection with rookie Lad McConkey could help with the Chargers' play spoiler as a wild card entry. The concern is that beyond McConkey, he may be pressed to carry too large of a burden without a deep receiver corps. His playoff experience is also minimal. He's played one postseason game, lost in 2022. I'm not too worried about the playoff experience being minimal, right? And the reason why is Justin Herbert is now a veteran. You have to take that game experience that you've had to the season and apply that to the playoffs. You also have to look at the fact that Justin Herbert has been criminally underrated. So that's why I said having him at 10 is actually a good thing, right? Right there is fine for me because I feel like he's went underrated. I feel like he's been overlooked. And I feel like he may actually shock a little bit in these playoffs. He's going to come into it with a new mindset. You've got the new coach in Jim Harbaugh. So everything's different. That's why I said I don't care about the previous playoff loss and not having really much playoff experience. Justin Herbert is a veteran. So coming into these playoffs with Jim Harbaugh and this new team, even though you don't have the deep threat, I think they're going to be fine. I think they're going to figure it out. They'll get things going. And I think they're going to give, the Texans some hell. And Justin Herbert may surprise us. So I think I like him at 10 there. I think I like him at number 10. Getting into number 9, Jordan Love. Yeah, I like this too. Right at number 9. Says at his best, Love almost certainly belongs in the top 5 here. Why would you say that if you put him at 9? As he boasts one of the most impressive arms in the game, evoking shades of Mahomes and Packers legend Brett Favre during his splashiest moments. It helps he now has Josh Jacobs to beef up Matt LaFleur's ground support too. Unlike in 23, however, he's entering the playoffs on somewhat of a down note. He also is coming off an elbow injury, his third notable ailment of the year. Will he be ready to carry the load? Yeah. I think Jordan Love being back in this situation is not only good for him, but I think it's where he's supposed to be. I think the Packers team has changed things around. I think Matt LaFleur is loving life right now. The toxicity is gone. The diva management is gone. And so at this point, you've got Jordan Love, who obviously has the injury issues, but he's back, right? He's back in the playoffs. You got a solid opportunity. You do have to be on your A game because you're going against the Eagles. But I feel like Jordan Love being here makes sense. And I feel like, it's going to be a hell of a game between the Eagles. The question is who's going to play the better defense. That's all. All right, number 8, Baker Mayfield. This one's interesting because I feel like he could be a little higher, but then I also feel like he could be a little lower, right? But Baker Mayfield has done a hell of a job for these Buccaneers. People wrote him off after the Browns, and they said that he would never be anything else, and that was it for him. He then moves on, goes through his trials and tribulations. He ends up with the Buccaneers. Him and Mike Evans have been a match made in heaven. Kiss to the chef. And it's been a great thing for these Buccaneers. So gone are the days of the Buccaneers leaning heavily on Todd Bowles' physical defense. Mayfield now fully runs the show, singing it in the tune of a career-high 41 touchdowns for Liam Cohen's balanced attack. More impressive is the fact that ever feisty gunslinger he aired out while battling significant injury. Relating to holes in his supporting cast throughout the year, he'll still throw himself into trouble while trying to play hero, but his zeal also makes him a dangerous foe in January. Yeah, I mean, the big thing about Baker is I think he's going to have to tone down the hero ball, right? He's going to have to let the game come to him. He's going to have to realize that, hey, I don't have to go out and win it. I have a team. Right? There's going to be moments where you have to rise to the occasion, but then there's also moments where you have to step back and realize you have opportunity to let someone else make a play. Let the game come to you. Don't force anything. And so I think if Baker Mayfield can do that, he can definitely show up in the playoffs and make a statement for himself. But yeah, like I said, he could be a little bit higher, maybe. But, the hero ball definitely is what gets him in trouble sometimes. Number 7, Jayden Daniels. He's right where he needs to be. Rookie quarterback, doing a hell of a job with the Commanders. I don't really have any complaints, right? We talk about rookies coming into these kind of situations and heading in the playoffs. Jayden Daniels holds multiple records. He's set up this team to be a new franchise under a new name, new ownership. I think everything for the Commanders is going wonderful at this point with Jayden Daniels. The breath of fresh I can't get it out. The breath of fresh air that the Commanders needed. And I think for this team, Robinson, Ertz, there's a lot going good for them with the defense. And coming into the playoffs, I think, the Commanders are a team to definitely watch. Now, this is uncharted for Daniels as far as a playoff scenario, but I think he's got the coaching to get him through it. I think he's definitely got the skill and the talent. So I'm not too worried there. I just think, is he going to be in the same kind of situation that Baker's in? Is he going to try to play hero, right? Don't play hero. Let the game come to you. Stay poised, stay focused out there. And we'll have to see what Daniels does going into the postseason. Before we continue on, let me hop into the chat with you guys. Philip says Darnold is going to Cleveland. James Winter says, who can best adapt to the game at the moment? Only Allen and Pat. They did prove this season. That's a good take. I definitely agree. Tyrone says, instead of kicking Darnold's back and give the Lions credit. Oh, without a doubt. 100%. I'm not taking from the Lions defense at all. The Lions defense played a hell of a job. They played a hell of a game. They did a great job. And I think at the end of the day, you credit the Lions defense more than how bad Sam Darnold was. 100%. Dan says, even with the top 10 teams in the playoffs, I feel like a little bit of hope, and hopefully some of those teams can really spread their wings before they lift off, because these games will be intense. I agree. Moving on to number 6, Jalen Hurts. Once again, I think, he's right where he should be. Hurts is a bona fide winner, going 37-10 over his last 3 seasons as the unfazed shepherd of an all-star lineup with a variant 2022 Super Bowl effort. Also in the resume, he thrives as an adapter, going from the gritty runner to deep short artist depending on the day. The question with Hurts, as it was going to into that 22 postseason, is physical readiness. He has been sidelined since before Christmas due to a concussion. Provided he's full to go, he's got the weapons to make noise. I agree. I'm not worried about Hurts. Hurts is going to be fine. We talked about Hurts yesterday. He'll be ready to go. They said he looked sharp in practice and everything like that, so he should be okay. So I'm not worried about him. I think he's fine, number 6. Hurts has been phenomenal. I think he's done exactly what we expected him to this season. You pick up Saquon Barkley, you basically change the whole dynamic as far as his team. I'm excited to see what they do. They go up against the Packers in the wild card round. Once again, it's going to come down to the defense for me. I don't expect Hurts to have too much of an issue, but I did say that I would like to see this team protect him a little more, maybe change up the game plan so he doesn't have to focus his body. Let Saquon get busy back there, take some of the pressure off Hurts, and I think he'll be okay. So there you go. Number 5, Matthew Stafford. This is surprising to me. I would think that Hurts may be a little higher than Stafford, bring Stafford a little bit lower. But he should be in the top 10. Don't get me wrong, without a doubt. As it says, one of the toughest to rank. Stafford's place in NFL history is already secured as a rocket-armed Super Bowl champion. For that reason alone, he's a prime candidate to steal the postseason spotlight while feeding Puka Nacua and Sean McVay's battle-tested attack. At 36, though, he's also been quite streaky behind an inconsistent line, needing some strong defensive support to weather an ugly NFC West down the stretch. If he's on, look out. If he's not, he could be ousted early. I agree. He is hard to rank, and that's why I said, it could be him or Hurts. I'm not mad about it, but the problem is he is streaky. So if you're getting the Matt Stafford that you've seen against the Bills, you're going to have a hell of a show. If you're getting the Matt Stafford that, is looking like the deer in the headlights, we've seen that one before. It doesn't look good. But I just don't see this team going out like that. I don't see, Kupp, Nacua, Williams, these guys not balling out, and that defense that the Rams have being able to make plays and, create some good opportunities for the squad. I just don't see that not happening for the Rams. So I think Matthew Stafford's going to do great. I think, he's going to play his best ball. He knows what time it is. It's the playoffs. He should be in his element. He should be in his moment. So I think, I think it's good that he got him at number 5. Number 5 there. Number 4, Jared Goff. The skittish Goff of the quarterback's final days with the Rams is long gone, boosted by belief from the Lions' bold staff as well as a world-class line and skill group. He simply excelled as a traditional pocket passer, as evidenced by elite marks in both completion rate, 72.4%, and yards attempted 8.9 in short. He gets the ball where it needs to be more often than almost anyone. Also overlooked, he's already aiming for his third career NFC title game appearance. I think another one that's overrated was Jared Goff. It's very easy to look at it now and be like, yeah, he's great. He's been doing wonderful. But I remember saying it when Jared Goff went over to the Lions and they beat the Packers. A lot of you were saying, well, Jared Goff, oh, it doesn't matter. You know, it's going to be terrible next year. I said when Jared Goff won that game, he looked different. He looked ready. He looked like he felt at home with the Lions. And now we're starting to see that. And there's so much stride. There's so much chemistry over there. And you've got Dan Gamble, not Dan Campbell. It's Dan Gamble over there, who's willing to take the risks and shoulder all those risks. Jared Goff is playing phenomenal football. And yeah, there's mistakes here and there. And, you know, he'll have his down moments, but it's far and in between. He's solid. It works. This is a team that is destined for greatness. And for me, I think this is the team that you got to beat coming into the NFC. The road goes through them to get to the Super Bowl. So there you go. Number 4, Jared Goff. Number 3, Josh Allen. I'm not mad about this. It says, not so unlike Lamar, the Bills' supersized dual threat is the total package in almost every way physically, on paper, and in the eye test, but simply lacks a defining title bid. Failing to reach the AFC Championship in each of his last 3 seasons, he's cut down on his more reckless tendencies as a passer, but he remains something of a Superman aspirant thanks to the physical approach on the ground, elevating Buffalo's interchangeable array of pass catchers. So I think this is fine. I think Josh Allen at number 3 is great, right? Because he has had to tone down being Superman. Joe Brady has created such a great package for him to kind of curtail the cowboy antics, right? Tame the wild horse, if I may, into this season. And so by doing that and removing Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis from the equation, it's allowed Josh Allen to get the team ball working, right? This oiled machine. Ray Davis, James Cook, Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, Johnson, Cooper, Samuel. Everybody's going to get a touch. Everybody's going to get used. And so by doing that, Josh Allen's not forcing anything, right? I know that certain people are reliable. I can trust these individuals. And if the play is not there, I'm not going to force it. But I'm going to figure it out. If I got to run and figure it out, if I got to, go in the RPO, toss it out to the flat, then I know that Cook's going to catch it, get us a first down. I've got options. Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, right? Even if my defense isn't doing as well as I need them to do, I have the offense that I need to go out there and perform and be great. So I think having Josh Allen at number 3 is wonderful. I like it. Shout out to you, Charlene. Good to see you. Good morning. All right, getting into number 2, Lamar Jackson. Okay. Could be higher, but all right. Lamar Jackson says the only thing really preventing Jackson from holding the top spot is his limited postseason resume. We'll get into that in a second. For a guy with 2 and perhaps soon 3 MVP awards, he surprisingly owns just 2 career playoff wins over 5+ years as a starter. Still, he's arguably the most electric player in his position, capable of breaking off a 50-yard run or launching a 50-yard score on any given play, and he's enjoyed career best efficiency through the air in 2024. I don't like how we'll kind of use past seasons as the way to vote for right now. This is a new season. This is a new year. This is a new postseason. We're in the 2025 playoffs. Why are we basing how we're ranking quarterbacks on past performance? Because past performance doesn't equal future success. So when I look at Lamar now, I say, well, maybe he should be number 1, right? Maybe he should be number 1. The man has been excellent. He is in the running for the MVP. It's a battle between him and Josh Allen. So when we look at Derrick Henry coming over, I think that definitely gave him more opportunity to create issues with the defense. Right on with the deep ball, right? He's been looking amazing. He's throwing the ball better, potentially the best of his career at this point. He's got a great wide receiver room, great chemistry there. Mark Andrews is back playing his best football. So I think Lamar should be at number 1. I mean, we can kind of get an idea as far as who is, but he's there at number 2. Can't be mad at it, but hey, there it is. Number 1. Good old Patrick Mahomes. I've skated by, but I'm still number 1, and you can't stop it. You can't stop it. I'm going to beat you by 1. I'm going to beat you by 2. You thought you was going to get the win. I'm going to block your field goal, or this team's going to block your field goal. We are going to find a way to win. And guess what? If we're down, we're going to make sure that we have the ball at the end of the game because we're going to have control. Andy Reid is a scientist when it comes to this, of the utmost elite level. Says, by his standards, Mahomes has been more scrappy than spectacular for 2 years and counting, relying primarily on late-game heroics, including as a scrambler to give Kansas City an almost unbelievable win rate in tight contests. There's simply no way we can call him an underdog in January. However, as he enters with Hall of Fame-worthy 15-3 career playoff record, vying for a record 3rd straight Super Bowl trophy, he thrives in these moments under Andy Reid. There you go. It's very simple this morning, y'all. Very simple. I think Lamar should have been number 1. But to be honest, how can you debate Patrick Mahomes from having that spot? Right? He's got the better record. There's been some significant games where he's found a way to win. And so, sure, it's hard to hate on the winner, or it's easy to hate on the winner. It's hard to accept that he'd be on the number 1 spot when there is, other talent out there that could be there. But the reality is I get why he's number 1 and I do respect it. So number 1 is Patrick Mahomes. There you go. There you go. Let's get into the chat. It says, I think Lamar and Goff should be switched. Yeah, I mean, I think Lamar's fine number 2. Maybe if you want to switch him with Allen, I could see that, right? But I think having just because, Goff's not in the MVP conversation. And Lamar's right where he should be. So if you're going to switch anybody, it could be Goff and Allen. Just because Goff has a better record. So Dan says quarterback salaries are very interesting, but at the end of the day, it provides a roof over your head and food to eat. It provides more than that. Tyrone says, I believe Lamar is in his best position to succeed this year. I agree. There's no denying that Lamar Jackson is probably in the best opportunity he could be in right now. Team-wise, talent-wise, physically, right? He's not coming into the postseason with any real ailments that I know of. So I think for me, Lamar at this point he's at his best opportunity for sure. For sure. Shout out to you, Tatigo. Says, Jay, I'm absolutely loving these morning shows. Me too, man. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It's wonderful. We get to talk about, not only sports, but we get to break, things down and talk a little bit more candidly, right? I love to talk candid, be frank with you guys, be transparent because, when we're streaming the games and stuff, I can only say so much. I got kids watching and the family watching and stuff like that. The morning shows, I get a little bit more, have a little bit more fun, be a little bit more candid, step outside of the box a little bit, but still keep it, professional to a certain degree. But I love it because I can like reach into that bag, start talking about some other things that I normally wouldn't talk about during the game, because y'all know when I veer off sometimes people get mad. Get back to the game, Jay. Focus on the game. Like, who the hell you think you talking to? This is my show. But I get it. Some people definitely want me to, stay on the course. So that's why these morning shows are great, because we could veer off and hop back in and go to a different story. Or if y'all want me to talk about something else, you could let me know and we could start talking about it. So that's great. I love it. It's been great. And it's wonderful. So like I said, we're going to keep it going. This is what we're doing now. We're going to keep it going. I told y'all I was going to hit 2025 full throttle. We here to stay. We ain't going nowhere. We got the playoffs this weekend. It's going to be absolutely insane. I'm excited. We're going to be streaming that. We got some college football going too. We're going to get into that. So yeah, I'm excited. It's wonderful. I appreciate you guys. Coffee's probably cold by now, and so we're going to get going here. But I appreciate you guys. Much love to the Wrench Gang. Much love to the family, all the listeners, all the watchers. I'll see you guys later. Obviously, we'll keep the content rolling. So if you have not been able to watch the whole stream, the clips will be up for you to watch. They'll probably hit you guys notifications. In the meantime, have yourself a great day. Stay warm. Peace out.